What's going on, everybody? Welcome. We are live. Hey, I first of all want to welcome you all, introduce you. I'll introduce myself in just a second here, but I want to welcome everybody to the live here on all my channels. I'm here on live on YouTube and on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and or if you're checking this out on replay. In fact, let me just kind of set the table here. This is what's going on. If you've been following some of my content, you'll realize that or be familiar with the fact that I'm kind of going against the model here. Whereas, in fact, I'm also on another live over here, another recording. What's going on, everybody? And where everyone is going towards AI, which I think is great. I use AI, and it's here to stay. So there's no not using AI. It's part of our culture. Part of how we're doing business now. What I am conscious and aware of is that it's easy. AI, and people generally look for the easy way out. They want to do the easy thing. And the easy thing is crowded. And so it's easy to rip a bunch of content using, my goodness, you'll see, actually, I did use, I do have a presentation to share with you here. And for those of you that are live, but which I did use some AI. It's amazing how quickly you can just create presentations and slide decks and websites and content and as you probably know, the platforms, the algorithms are trying to catch up with and rearrange how they manage content because there's so much of it. I say all that because I'm leaning into organic and I should say real and raw. So everything that I'm doing going forward, and I don't say everything because I have no idea what that even means anymore. But what I do know is connecting here and not performing, not making it glossy, because here's the thing. If you've been using any type of AI agent, ChatGPT, Manus, GenSpark, Gemini, whatever, everybody's starting. If you use it enough, you can start to hear everybody's starting to sound the same. If everybody in their emails and their content and their presentations, all that is sounding the same, how do you differentiate yourself? You just talk. You connect with people. You create resonance. You get real. So that's my goal here. So this one live that we're doing here, for those of you that are joining live, you get the opportunity to ask questions. We got the chat available. And so we get Connect Live. What I'm also doing is recording this and putting it on my podcast. And then it'll also go to my YouTube channel and then live on social. What I'm then doing is I'm using it to market as well. So it's just, I just want to come, and I think I perform because in the past, I have created outlines for, which I do. I mean, I have a presentation here, but I've created structure around things, and it's just like, let's just teach and train and connect and grow and create relationships that are organic and real. That's my goal. What that looks like, I don't know. We'll see. So what I'm doing here today, my friends, is you're going to get a first glimpse into what I share with some of my highest paying corporate clients. And this has evolved over time. But if you are someone who hires speakers, trainers to come in, you get a glimpse at one of the topics that I'm passionate about and that that are serving so many leaders and teams. And if you're not, you can use this for your own benefit. So my goal here is to just serve. I'd like to be able to serve you. If you see this of some benefit to you, and you're new to me, gang, I'm at Cletus Coffee on all social channels. You simply can reach out to me. I'm going to put on here, in fact, I'll lob it up here for the first time, just to make it easy. This is a great way to connect with me. This is just to book a call. So for those of you that are on YouTube or here on live, you can just do a quick QR screen grab of this. For those of you on the podcast, I'll go ahead and put it into the description below. So this is a great way for us to connect, how I can be of service for you. Okay. I'm also asking for a little bit of grace because I'm going to do something that I haven't done before in the free flowing training way, but I do have some slides. I do have a training doc. Look, I'm not overcomplicating this. I'm not going to overgloss this. So it's just going to be real. If you got questions as we go along, lob it in here. If you're watching it on the replay, man, just throw it in the comments and I will respond to you. Or like I said, book a call, reach out to me and let's connect and let's talk further. What I'm looking here to do is to connect with the leaders. And I'm talking about those of you who lead in the business sense. You lead teams, you lead your clients, employees, or maybe you lead at home. You're in a relationship that you lead or want to lead better. You lead in, maybe you're a parent, you want to lead your children. Leadership, my friends, leaders are built. And what I want to get across, one more bit about the AI, is if we didn't already have access to all the information we do now, and it just comes a lot quicker. So with AI, what you're going to find is that the information is out there. There's no like new information I can give you right now that you probably haven't ever heard before, or that you can't get in an instant from AI. What's going to be different is resonance, frequency. You can't get much from AI in that regard. And it's difficult to get from people that you don't have resonance with, you don't relate with, resonate with. I'll give you an example. Someone like a Tony Robbins, and fantastic, he is able to take information that he's gotten and put in a way that's delivered that people resonate with. And so it's finding someone, and although his information is great, his books, his presentations, his seminars, for some people, it just doesn't really relate with. I didn't relate with a lot of his story or a lot of his connections, but there are other people, similar, just like him, that I relate more with. Someone like me, a former athlete, single father, wants to be of service in business, wants to lead in this world, in this capacity, that really loves being a father, and for a long time was just really wanting to find a relationship, a woman in my life that was grounded and peaceful and loving and aligned. And so, look, I want to touch all different areas of life in a leadership capacity. So for me, gang, so now I use it in speaking, presentations, workshops for corporate teams. I used to do a lot of athletic teams, sports teams. By all means, that's something I can still do, but corporate seems to be my wheelhouse. And then, of course, I have my coaching containers, the movements that I've created. Oftentimes, it's primarily for men, because men could use a lot of help. Women out there that align with my message, by all means, reach out to me. We can see how we can work together in various different capacities. So thank you for being here. Let's dive in and let's get better today. That's my goal. Help you get better. So in the short amount of time that we're going to be here, my objective is that you take something away that you can apply right now as a leader in your business, in your job, at your home, with your family, somewhere in your community. Let's get better at leadership. Now, I can tell you, I did not, from what I know about leadership now, based on the way I learned it very early on, has definitely changed quite a bit. And for those of you that are on the podcast, what's up? Thank you for listening. This is the beauty of being able to record once, connect with people live, have some Q&A, and then be on YouTube. And then, of course, those of you that want it just straight audio can just plug it in while you're working out, on the drive home, what have you. But podcast folks, thank you. My podcast has been such a blessing, a way to connect with my community for quite some time now. My podcast has evolved over time. It's called Be the Torch as well. All right. So what I'm going to do, but I say that because the podcasters, you're not going to see on the screen. You can obviously head on over to YouTube and you can see what everyone else is seeing. But nonetheless, for those of you who are here with me now, let's get into it and let's get an idea of how we can get better as leaders today. So what we're going to be focused on is a concept called mirror-based leadership. Mirror, like looking in the mirror into your reflection. And this is a concept about leading from alignment. And I tell you, especially for men who have been taught that we are here to perform, to produce, provide. And if we don't, what's been communicated to us for so long is that there's something wrong with us. And that everything is performance based. And so our leadership, more often than not, for most, even the best leaders, the smartest leaders, they are leading from external performance, results. And I'm here to put a stake in the sand and say, yes, and that's either hurting you in a tremendous amount of ways, or we can do so much better if we learn how to reframe this and look at it from a different perspective. And for me, that is looking at it from a mirror perspective. So the crisis that exists, my friends, is in leadership for those that are leading, those that have the pressure to produce, perform, provide for others. Burnout is increasing, especially amongst men, guys. This is not even, if you haven't experienced it yet, it's coming. As much as I've seen it with dudes, it is coming in your life. Our relationships have become transactional. Even our most intimate, loving relationships, they often take the brunt of it. The success is transactional as well. It is without experience, meaning we don't get to experience it. We don't get to enjoy it. It's just become transactional. It lacks the fulfillment. We're doing it for doing its sake. And look, we could spend a whole training on how that came to be. And it dates back to our connection from source, being misaligned and doing things for the sake of business and money and all those things. And then lastly, performing alignment and not living it. And so we think, okay, well, I'll create alignment. So there's something I need to do, something I need to do. I need to over effort something. I need to perform, and you're not living it. And people can feel that. People that are connected, people that are in tune with themselves, know when someone who's maybe with the best intentions is leading, is performing in that regard, but they're misaligned, and you can feel it. Once you get connected with you, you're going to sense the bullshitters out there. And wow, wouldn't you like to know if someone's BSing you from the get-go? Before they even open their mouth, you're going to be able to feel it. My goodness, I hope that you feel it from me here today, because my goal here is to start having these conversations and getting that out there. Now, what I want to do here is we're going to do a quick flip here, because not only do I have a simple presentation, but I have super raw, but let's work through this in real time, training wise. So what you'll see here up on the screen, just a basic Google Doc, guys, or the difference between leaders that someone's going to follow or leaders that people kind of manage being around. And it's important to, it sounds like common sense. You don't want to be that dude or that leader that people are walking on eggshells around, but it's real. That's exactly what's happening. So there's a gap in this, and the gap is an identity. And so what I want you to know is that there's an assumption as leaders that, oh, dude, people are, I'm in a position of title, a position of power. Yeah, people are going to follow me. And that's just not the case. That's just not what's happening. They may smile at you. They may make you feel like they're following you, but it's just not the case. And so leaders oftentimes are so caught up in their own vision of way that they think things are that don't even realize it, that people are walking on eggshells around them, that people are smiling in their face for the sake of they need to keep their job. They need to make money. And so they're doing it for the sake of doing it. And I'll give you a prime example. And when I used to do workshops, presentations with athletic teams on the collegiate level, on the professional level, when I would step onto a campus, the first place I would go would be the physical training room, the PT room, where people were getting sore muscles worked on, ice baths, those type of things. I'd go there. Why? Because athletes are terrified to tell the truth to their coaches. They're terrified to tell the truth. And so what they do is they open up and they share almost like a therapist with the physical therapist, because they're safe. And so I go to the PT and say, hey, what's going on with the culture? What's the crew talking about? What are the teams really up against? And look, there's some fear that if the leader or the coach knows what's going on for me, that they're going to cut me, they're going to sit me on the bench, they're going to take away my scholarship. Same thing in the corporate space, that they are going to not give me a raise. They may put me in a job I don't want to be in. They may fire me, whatever. There's that fear. And so they walk around and kind of tell you what you want to hear as a leader. That's not what we want. But the problem behind it is there's a reason why they're doing that. And it's not because, they want to lose their job. There's a main reason. I'm going to share that with you in just a moment. But first, let's get a sense, the two types of leaders. So if you're a current leader, if you're a high performing leader, driven, ambitious leader, amazing. It's time to get better. So just because you've been leading and this is the biggest issue I see in leadership, is leading competency, doing the same thing over and over again without recognizing or seeing that people aren't following you anymore, or there's been an involvement in the environment outside of you. The way people are working is changing, and changing rapidly with AI. There's incredible disruption. And if you're still leading the way you used to lead when disruption wasn't there, my friend, then the alignment's not there. So we want to be really clear that people are going to follow leaders who allow them to open up, and there are places in which they can. So there are the leaders that people follow. These leaders, people bring to them the truth. They're able to communicate, open up to them without fear of consequences. The pushback happens, and that's great. Like, let's get to it. Let's not be passive about it. Let's not work around it. Like, let's have open and honest pushback conversations. Let's hear it out. They recognize that mistakes are absolutely part of the process, and a leader that people follow, their energy is grounded. It is not performative, and it's real. It's open. It's raw. It's vulnerable. The key insight here is that following is voluntary. They're not just automatically going to follow you. They may be there. They may show up. They may head nod. They may tell you what you want to hear, but that's not what you want as a leader. And so you don't know until they leave, they exit your company, they move on, that you're like, oh, what, we had a problem? I had no idea. So that's not the environment that you want to create. So where we want to take this really is from the understanding that managing around a leader, it's not a survival strategy, or is a survival strategy. It's not the rebellion. They're doing it just for the sake of surviving you. So my friends, this is not about being right. This is about being predictable when things aren't going your way, when things are under pressure, when there is disruption like there is right now with AI. So how do leaders become this type of person? Well, it's not because there's a lack of skill. The cause of it is really just you haven't been taught. You haven't learned how to lead from a mirror-based perspective. And most leaders have been taught, and I'll come off screen share because I want to eyeball you all with this. Most leaders have been taught to lead from a particular outcome-based or a mission. And a mission is usually something we accomplish based on performance. It's external of them. And so no wonder why people aren't truly aligned. They're not bought in. Why your culture is off why your team is not performing. Why? Because it's a reflection of you, my friend. That's what comes about. It's a reflection of you. Right now, wherever you're at, how your team is performing, if you're truly aligned and connected and you understand where your team is at, their results right now are a reflection of you, not them. So we got to make the leader better first, not the team. The team will respond based on how you grow yourself, how you evolve yourself. And so the team will grow to the level, to the capacity that you're able to grow. And this is where a lot of leaders get this truly mixed up. And there's a cost to that. And that cost is oftentimes not in plain sight. It's hidden. And so it's that because we've been taught, and it's not your fault, my friend. You didn't learn it right. Because society is telling you that everything is results-based, outcome-based. That means you're successful as a leader. That means you're successful as a parent, as a man, as a partner, is based on the outcomes, the results. That's a recipe for depression, anxiety, lack of what I'm trying to say, self-doubt creeps in, ton of self-doubt, identity issues, self-worth, when we put our identity connected to our outcomes and results. Same thing with our team. So we want to see that that most people focus on strategy. They want to get to the X's and O's, the skill sets, not recognizing state. So we're going to flip all of these. We're going to make sure that you are aware that state comes before strategy, the state in which you are in. And then, truth is compromised for image. And I tell you what, this is where I had my biggest setbacks, my biggest failures, because I didn't tell the truth for a long time in my life. I mean, vast majority of my life, mainly to myself. And if you're not telling the truth to yourself, then you're not telling it to anybody else. So the truth, I lied for a long time, really because I wanted to fit in. I didn't want to look weak. I wanted to look like I had all my shit together. And so I would lie and tell people what I thought they wanted to hear. And I wanted to show up in society the way I thought society wanted me to be. And so I was totally inauthentic, not myself. And so no wonder why I either attracted other people that were in pain, that were inauthentic, that were lying, or opportunities, or I continued to see outcomes and results that I didn't want. So it starts with you and I telling the truth. That's a keen perspective that most people aren't willing to open and to address. And so I just want to show you this really quickly, gang. If you're looking at this, if you're not looking at this because you're on the podcast, the wrong question that everybody's asking: what am I here to do as a leader, as a man, as a human being? What am I here to do? And that I feel like this creates misalignment, and I'll explain why. That misalignment really stems from just being outcome achievement based. We're all about accomplishing and achieving. And so, of course, what am I here to do? What am I here to accomplish? What am I here to achieve? What's my mission in life? What's my purpose? And I think we've got that all backwards as individuals, and of course, as leaders. And what it does is it puts us on edge. It puts us in a position where we don't lead from patience. We don't lead from, what did I just do? We're not leading from a place of creativity, from calmness. We're reacting to the fires and the pressures that are before us. So, people, they manage themselves. Your followers, people that you're leading, they're going to be walking on eggshells, right? They're managing around reactive leaders because something happens, you get pissed off, you get upset, you yell, you scream, you demean, you belittle, you name call, you use sarcasm to hide your own insecurities. Ooh, sarcasm, one of the biggest. I'll do a whole nother video on sarcasm. Get sarcasm out of your leadership. And so this shows up as control. This shows up as defensiveness, image management. I got to make sure I look good in the situation, and your emotional volatility. And you know this if you have a tough day at home and at the office, and you show up at home and you get angry with your spouse, and maybe you're being short or avoidant or angry and yelling. Look, that's just all reactionary, dude. You're out of alignment. Let's get you in alignment here today. So in just a moment here, I'm going to share with you the framework to help get you into alignment. When people don't feel safe telling you the truth, they're going to manage around you. Plain and simple. If people aren't telling you the truth, it's because you are not telling you the truth. Big mic drop moment here. If people aren't telling you the truth, it's because you're not telling the truth. Most importantly, than yourself. You can't expect anybody else to tell you the truth if you're not telling yourself the truth. Why? Why would anyone be truthful to you if you're not truthful? This is the mirror. This is mirror-based leadership. So you can't expect anyone to do anything for you that you aren't willing to do for yourself. You follow me there? So mirror-based leadership, my fancy little design here. Maybe I'm just sharing this because I just think the design is cool. I don't even know if it's showing up this very, very easily on this live here, but nonetheless, I thought it was cool. This is where mirror-based leadership comes in. This is how we stop people from walking on eggshells around you. This is how we get you being a smart, able, very ambitious, high-driven leader to start to get the outcomes and results that you truly want to experience. And it's not by over-efforting. It's not by cracking the whip with control. It's not about being reactionary and being defensive. And it's not about focusing on outcomes, because the outcomes are simply validation from that perspective, from being in the fire, from being that reactionary leader. You want to be validated. Whereas outcomes from a mirror-based leader is simply feedback, man. It's steps to success. There are no setbacks. There are setbacks, but there's no failures. I don't know how that happened, but I just fixed the presentation, so now it looks a little bit better. Nonetheless, we want to go to that blue flame, and that blue flame is there for a reason. Because think about a blue flame on a fire. It's the most efficient. It's got the most oxygen right there. And so we want to be that blue flame leader. And I use the blue flame a lot in a lot of my frameworks. And so if you haven't already, and you are interested in some of my frameworks and what I do with leaders, how I coach them, by all means, guys, I'll just put a quick QR code here. Just hit that really quick. Book a call with me, and let's have a strategy session on what I can potentially do for you, help you lead and your family, your in the office, your clients, and or come in and work with your teams directly. So where we go with this is saying, okay, look, what we know is mirror-based leadership is where it's at. I get it, Cletus, mirror-based leadership. What the heck is it? Okay, well, let's first address what mission-based leadership is, because this is where most of us learn and get started. And what we're taught is that the mission, the purpose, the vision, the values, that's where we want to lead from. Are those things important? Absolutely. They're part of the process. But how we've been taught how to create those and how to lead by those are misaligned. And it's causing people to not follow you, not be in alignment with your leadership style, and your team is not getting the results that you're looking for. So a mission-based leader is all about the outcomes. It's about the success, because that's what the mission is tied to. I hear it all the time. My mission is to inspire 1 million people to fill in the blank, get off drugs, have a beautiful life, get in shape. It's an outcome. So what happens if you don't hit it? You get 999,999. Did you not accomplish the mission? So we get tied to these outcome based, and then we get worried and stressed and tight and anxious when we're not on track to get to 1 million people. So the scoreboard be, begins to identify, we begin to identify the scoreboard. So if we're not on track, then what's wrong with me? I'm not good enough. This might not be the path. Maybe I shouldn't be in fitness. I should have just gone and been a dentist or whatever it may be. So the scoreboard becomes the main driver, or success. That's how we identify. That's where our self-worth is tied to. And that is a trap, my friends. Tying your self-worth and your identity to the scoreboard, the outcomes, results, is a trap. So why would we want to lead from that? The mission-based, the trap, any threats to your mission, as I mentioned, really is more of a personal attack on you. These types of leaders, they're focused on outcomes, their image, and then, oh, by the way, if it is convenient or it makes sense in this moment, I'll tell the truth. So when results become your reference point, your leadership becomes fragile. Let me say that again for the people in the back. When results become your reference point, leadership becomes fragile. And I used to hear this all the time with sports coaches. Okay, Cletus, I get it, but I gotta win. Otherwise, I don't keep my job. Yeah, I get it. Exactly. Do you see it? Yes, you need to win. You need those results so that you can stay employed. You need to hit your numbers so that your business continues to flourish. Of course. But the way in which we've been trying to get there, there's an anchor that's holding us back. And that anchor is our addiction to that scoreboard. Imagine if we were aligned. This rubber band doesn't stretch. It'll just keep going. You get the wins. You get the results. You get the outcomes. But from that mission, that outcome base, that's not how, that's going to hold you back. It's a trap. Now, the shift is to a mirror-based leadership model. This is your moment to recognize that looking at yourself, leadership means to go first. So whatever you're trying to be, create, experience, you have to do it first. Everything that I am sharing with you here, I have done first. Otherwise, I couldn't share it with you. I have gone first. Everything. My personal mastery is something I've been so committed to in the morning. My meditations, my workouts, my healthy eating, my journaling, my reading, like it's all done, locked into the morning, boom. It has been my commitment, and now I can help share and teach others about that. That's my whole Master Your Morning routine. If you're ever interested, shoot me a message. I can help give you my framework on what I do in the morning. But as a mirror base, like it's all results are just a reflection. So here, I really need you to get this. The results in that you are experiencing are a reflection of you. So if your team is on edge because of AI, or they're already feeling disrupted by it all, or they're not performing, it's simply a mirror back to you and your leadership. Oh, no, Cletus, it can't be. They're just not putting forth enough effort. They are a reflection of you. I know it's hard to hear, man. I hear it all the time, especially with men in relationships. When they say, my woman that I'm in a relationship, my spouse, my wife, my girlfriend, whatever, she is constantly critical of me. I feel underappreciated. I don't feel valued. And I say, yes. And all that her criticism, the way in which she's treating you is simply a mirror back into you, where you are feeling insecure, chaotic, unwilling, avoidant, angry, all of that. She's just mirroring back to you. And for a lot of guys, man, that's hard to hear because they want to point the fingers. So we've gotten a really good habit as leaders. If things don't go our way on the scoreboard, it's because of the economy. It's because who's in politics. It's because of the market. It's because of AI, which is the big one right now. Oh, yeah, it's really impacting my business, blah, blah. No. All AI is doing, or any disruption for that matter, is exposing leaders. It's exposing you. And I don't mean to shame. It's not about shame. It's not exposing you because you're weak. It's just exposing where you need to, become aware of where you can get better. It's where maybe you're unhealed, or maybe not maybe, it is. It's where your blind spots are at. That's all it is. It's just exposing where your blind spots are. But this is the hardest thing, man, to get leaders to lock in and touch the hot pan, which is the truth about where their blind spots are. Because, man, they are locked. Like key was thrown away. And we can find that key. It just takes the courage to do that. It takes the courage to go after that and be willing to do that. So, who you are matters more than what you're trying to accomplish. Who you are, the essence, the aura, for the kids out there, that you bring to your leadership, to your life. That matters more than what is going to accomplish on the scoreboard, because those things will take care of itself. That is not your job. So what this really is, gang, this is going inward before we go outward. And I like to use, maybe just because this worked for me best, but I like to use the word state. Your state of being precedes your strategy. Truth precedes gaining trust. You have to tell the truth. Otherwise, no one's going to really trust you. They may, for the sake of a paycheck or for the sake of the fact that you're their parent, smile and go along with it, but the trust is eroding. And at some point, it's going to rear its ugly head. So what drives external results is your internal state, integrity, energy, frequency. And I'm not talking, this isn't woo-woo here, guys. This is researched. This is applied. These are proven strategies. We have to come from a state before we get to strategy. So purpose and mission play into this. And you'll see, for those of you who don't see on the podcast, but I've got a flame here and half of it is blue and half of it is a red fire. And purpose, that's the being. That's the being. That's the internal, the timeless energy cannot be created nor destroyed. Part of you. That is you. And then the mission is the expression of you. So the purpose is your being. The mission is the expression of it. That way it can be in context in the 3D world. So purpose is how you live. Mission is what happens when you do live. And this is something that took me a long time to really come to an understanding, because I hear it all the time, right? That my purpose is to cure cancer. My purpose is to be a great father. It's all something that you achieve or accomplish. And fellas, that's a trap. Women, that's a trap. We don't want to get caught up in that trap. Your mission is once you let go of that, all that desire to achieve and accomplish, and you learn to lock in and just be you, the mission unfolds. It happens. And I'll tell you, flat out, gosh, for me, I first learned this in relationships, because I found myself in very challenging, painful, toxic relationships, intimate relationships. And I just kept attracting people that, had their own stuff going on, and I had my own stuff going on. And the relationship itself, not that these were horrible people, it's just the relationship itself was a bad mix. And I'm responsible for it. And so for me, I just had this, and my purpose is in business is to do X, Y, and Z. And I want to find a woman that would love me, that would appreciate me, value me, that would be grounded and peaceful and loving. I just hadn't experienced that in my life. And what I had to learn is I needed to become that first. That needed to become my state of being, so that I could find someone and attract someone who had those things that I was looking for. I need to become it. I wasn't it. I didn't love myself. I didn't trust myself. I wasn't telling myself the truth. I wasn't valuing myself. I wasn't appreciating myself. I was riddled in shame and guilt and all of those things that come with divorces and being a single parent and losing a business and all that. I was so caught up in it. Relationship, that's a prime example, because a lot of us, at the end of the day, our relationships are what matter most to us. That state of love, and I struggled with it mightily. This was a huge flip for me. So if you're someone who's struggling in that area or challenged in that area, this is breaking away from the mission, especially for men. Like, the mission is to be loved and valued and have sex, and she's whatever relationship you have with your partner. It seems to be a level of control, and there's a mission behind that. So we recognize that mission is going to be corruptive of the mirror. It's going to blind you. There's going to be a fog when you're mission focused. I'm going to pause here again, because I've said it enough. It's not that having a mission is a bad thing. It is an expression of the real true you. So it's going to come out. That's part of it. I just don't want you to be thinking as a leader that we lead with the mission, because it's going to create disconnection, toxicity, negativity, distrust in your culture, in your organization, in your relationships. So, mission-based, really, it corrupts the mirror. So, for example, what I hear is an example. My mission is to help transform the lives of others. So why this leading like this is a trap is because it requires others to change. So in order for you to hit your mission, others have to change. You could be the most amazing transformative experience in person, but if others aren't willing to change, does that mean you didn't meet your mission? You didn't accomplish your mission? You see that? So it creates a lot of pressure to perform. It links your self-worth to impact. So things that ultimately are outside of your control, you're hitching your wagon to. You're hitching your wagon to a mission that, a style of leadership that is beyond your control. So we can flip that by saying, when I live with integrity and clarity, and I use this as my example, men tend to confront themselves. What do you notice there? I don't have to over effort in this. There's no obligation. There's no guarantee. There's no ego in this. When I, as a leader, lead from truth, from integrity, then it invites others on my team to lead with truth and integrity. To lead is to go first. So we have to be it before we can experience it. This is a prime example. A couple of other examples would be something like, my mission is to be an example of what's possible. This was actually one of mine for a long time. And because that's what I truly wanted to be. It was an example for my children. I want to be an example for others about what is possible in life. What it did is it was a weight. It was an anchor. I'll use my rubber band again. For those of you on the podcast, I'm stretching a rubber band here because there's an anchor. I can only stretch it so far before it snaps back or it breaks. That's what I was doing. And so I must always be strong. I got to manage my image. I didn't want to be seen as weak or struggling because I got to be that example. I can't show them that I'm hurting. I get to show my sons now, my daughter, that dad can get emotional. Dad can tear up. Dad has worries and fears, and he's working to get better every day. So we can flip. I have been able to now flip it and say, when I stop pretending or I show up authentically, my life becomes permission. Permission. It's just you have permission to make a change. If what you see in me is something you align with or works for you, it gives you permission to try that on for yourself. So this comes from a place of humility, which I said in the very beginning is important, because what leaders are doing is they're not leading from they're leading from competency versus humility. And that's, I wanted to tie that loop back because I said it in the very beginning. As leaders, we can, in this example, we lead from truth, visibility without performance. We don't have to perform to be valued. My friend, if no one has ever taught this to you before, let me eyeball you. And for those of you on the podcast, listen in. You are enough. You don't have to perform to be enough. You already are. You don't need to go make a bunch of money or land a big deal or be amazing in bed in order to be valued and loved and enough. Yes, I'm sure you probably would like to improve and experience those things in different capacities. Amazing. It's not you. You are enough already. And that's where a lot of people get tripped up. And that's where a lot of folks get stuck, is because they feel in order to be enough that ultimately they have to perform. And so what it does is, well, let me just tie this up really quick. I want to finish with my examples, just because I wanted you to see what this could look like. Let's see. An example could be, my mission is to lead people to greatness. This translates to pressure, hierarchy. You are already at a level of greatness and people are below you, that you're the savior, that you know what greatness is, and you can raise people to those levels if they're even willing to do this work. And ultimately what this does is it's going to put you in a pressure cooker, right? So let's flip it, mirror-based. When I hold myself to clean, clear, authentic standards, it gives others the opportunity to rise or to remove themselves. Now, this is an important one, because I'm gonna go back to the relationship. So when I work with men and they get to this place and they say, oh, okay, I'm gonna lead myself clear and clean, authentically. However, my wife isn't changing. She's still angry. She's still critical. She still says very incredibly mean things to me. Is cursing at me, is name calling me. She's still. Here's the thing, you can't control her, and they get stuck here because they start to see that there's a fork in the road, a red blue pill moment, whatever you want to call it. And that moment is, okay, that individual is, you rise and elevate yourself. You give someone else the invitation to do the same. They don't have to take it. Your job isn't to force them to evolve and grow themselves. They may choose to remove themselves, or you may choose to remove yourself. So you may be on a team, running a team, and you may say, hey, this is the way I'm showing up. These are the standards I have for myself. And you invite your team to do the same. It's not, you either do it or else. It's just like, hey, this is how I'm showing up. And other people are going to feel it. And they are going to meet you there. And that's power. That's how leadership becomes unstoppable. When you elevate through awareness, truth, integrity, humility, and others do the same, you guys meet, that's power. Talk about when you do that with a customer. When you meet a customer like that, that's a customer for life. Or people see that and they get triggered. And when they get triggered, they leave. They don't want to rise up to meet you to where you are inviting them to come. And so they leave, they resign, they leave the relationship, they don't sign a deal with you, and that's okay, because that person was not meant to be there. If you are showing up clean, you're looking in the mirror authentically, coming from truth, those that aren't will fall away. If you take anything from this training, please take that away, because it's powerful. What ends up happening when men aren't clean, leaders aren't clean, clear, what ends up happening is they become one of these three distortions. They become that wildfire, man. It's anger, it boils over, it's pressure. They're trying to force things, or they're that smolderer, that nice guy that just want to keep everybody happy. That isn't telling the truth either, because that's not the real them. And they're seeking approval. They're valuing their image. They're very passive. Okay, or you are the smoke. If you're the smoke, you're showing up inauthentically, and it's your image of how you want to portray yourself is more important than what's real. So back to the blue flame. That blue flame individual, that blue flame leader is calm, it's truthful, it's clear, it's focused, it's precise. And life will reorganize itself around your honesty. I had to become so honest with myself. Why I couldn't keep a relationship, why I couldn't find a relationship where someone treated me the way I knew and I wanted to be loved and treated. I had to be so clear with why the people I was aligning myself with in business were either terrible business people, they were convicted felons that I didn't even know about, they were opportunities that just weren't in alignment with me because I wasn't clear. I wasn't that blue flame. And that caused me a tremendous amount of discomfort because I was blinded by it. And I want to give you all a little piece. And as we're getting to the end here, I want to give you peace of mind that, look, yes, you're responsible. And I want you to know that your blind spots that you can't see yet, you're not responsible for those. How you maybe you are that wildfire with anger, resentment, bitterness, yelling and screaming. And if that's how you are and you're not aware of it, that's not your responsibility. However, as you become aware of it, it is now your responsibility. And you're going to suffer the consequences either way. But being responsible allows you and becoming aware, first allows you to be responsible, allows you to start to make some changes. So what we know is people will follow leaders who are emotionally predictable. They know you're not going to explode or blow up or yell or demean them. You know how to repair quickly. You know how to be honest and say, look, hey, I messed up. God, one of the biggest things is for a leader to show up after maybe a launch or a sales call or something and say, you know what, that was on me. Either I didn't perform well or I didn't prepare you well for that. Like that was on me. And own it. Not in a fluff, just, hey, that was on me, everybody. I'm responsible. No. Here's what I did. Here's how I showed up. And this is why that didn't work. Trust is not built in like this big grandiose moment. It's the breadcrumbs, and how quickly you can recover from big challenges. The quicker the trust is going to build. Okay, so I've got a tool for you. This is what I call my fire mirror audit, and what it is this is a strategic tool. I would really hope that you could learn how to apply into your life like now. So when a moment happens, when you get triggered by something, whether that be at the office, whether it be at home, parenting, you name it, before you respond, now keep in mind, when an event happens, and for those of you on the podcast, I'm holding my left hand up, and then I've got my right hand up, and I'm holding like a little gap, like there's between my two hands. It's like as if I'm making a field goal, but it's a really narrow one. They're really close. When an event happens, which is one hand, before you respond, which is the other hand, there's a little gap in there. And man, that gap is just a flash. It goes super quick. So before you respond in that gap, pausing, what has triggered me? And how am I showing up? Am I showing up as a wildfire in anger? Am I showing up as a nice guy trying to keep the cool? Either way, what am I feeling in this moment? This is a really good one for guys. What am I feeling in this moment? I'm pissed off because they didn't close that deal. I'm angry because my sales team is not hitting their monthly quotas. I'm frustrated because my kids aren't getting to school on time, or my wife said something that I didn't like. So what was it? What's the trigger? Because the trigger isn't about the event or the other individual or the experience. It's about you. Why are you triggered in this moment? What's the feeling that shows up? So what triggered me? Ooh, what fire showed up, or essentially get to what feeling. And then you want to find out the truth. So quickly getting to the truth. Is that true? What I'm feeling, is that true? But you got to be honest with yourself. This is where most people get hung up, is they don't want to be honest. So what triggered me? Well, she said something that I didn't like, that didn't feel very good. And so I'm feeling hurt. Okay, so go, yes, you're angry, maybe you're frustrated, but go a level deeper. Like, what is it? That hurt my feelings. Okay, that made me feel weak. What she said about me made me feel weak. So step number 3 is that true? Are you weak? In this particular moment, are you weak? And once you can reflect and go, okay, yeah, maybe I am acting pretty weak. Oh, gosh. All right, where do I need to repair for myself and in this situation? Or, you know what? No, I'm not weak. I'm strong. And now I can set a boundary and I can show up for myself first and foremost. I can take ownership for my contributions and I can set a boundary. Hey, you know what? That really hurt my feelings, what you just said to me. I don't like that. And I can tell you, if you're going to speak to me like that again, the next time, I'm simply just going to walk out of the room. You set a boundary. Boom. This is about you. It's about protecting you. It's not about that employee, that customer, your spouse, your kids. It's about you. And so when you look in the mirror, it's going to reflect back to you the truth. And so I want you to look into the mirror and I want you to learn how to take action on it versus reacting to the firestorm. So authority, and I want you to really key on this. Authority is restored through repair, not perfection. I will give you a prime example if you have kids. There has been, I tell you what, this is the one that really doesn't eat at me as much anymore, but it did in the moment. There's been, obviously, I'm human. I'm a parent, and kids will do things that just kind of light you up. And my oldest son, did something that, looking back on it, was probably funny. To this day, it's actually kind of funny. But in the moment, I was tired. I was frustrated with myself, with things that were going on. He simply threw a ball. It hit me off my dome, bing, and I became the wildfire. Whoa! I just unleashed on him verbally, and because he's much bigger than me, so I wouldn't mess with him. But actually, I realized in the moment as I got fired up that if he actually took me to the ground right now, I'd be in trouble. So, but I had to go back and repair, and I had to take that moment and take ownership, be honest, express what I was feeling, and repair. And it's in those moments where trust and love and connection is truly built, are in those moments. And so you're human. I know you've had those moments. I know you've had those experiences. What I should have done was said, okay, wow, something just completely triggered me. I'm about to explode. What was that? Oh, okay, well, the fire has showed up. And why is that? Well, okay, things didn't go well today. I had a challenging conversation with my co-parent. I had this happen at work, and now I'm about to take it out on my son. What's the truth? Is what he did, is it as life, shadow, is it the wildfire that really is? What am I feeling in this moment? I'm feeling that in the moment, because I told him multiple times not to do it, and he did it. And so I felt disrespected. I felt that what I said doesn't matter, that he didn't have to listen to me. And so once I went to that moment, I was able to come back and say, and tell him that, hey, what I was feeling was XYZ, but I had to do that. And that allowed me to go back and repair with him. So, what I would love for you to take away from this time, and I appreciate all of you that joined me here live, those of you that are watching on replay, I really want to take a good 60 minutes here to lock in. So, just the couple takeaways for you. Obviously, that the fire mirror audit right here is really important for you to do. I'll go ahead and put this in the description as well, so you have access to that. But look, it's okay to have a mission. Don't change a mission. You got goals. Don't jump in and try to change your goals right now. I just want you to be aware of your reactions. Don't feel any shame around, oh my gosh, I set a mission to do X, Y, and Z. That's external. That's okay. Let's not go wipe everything clean. Maybe you got the mission up on your wall at the office and you're trying to wonder, like, what do I do? Mirror. It's a mirror versus a mission. The mission exposes itself. So what could you do? Rethink the mission. Who do you need to be in order for that mission to be experienced? Not achieved, not accomplished, to be experienced. That's ultimately what you want. Achieving and accomplishing is pressure that causes people to react, get anxious, get angry. So listen to your reactions. What's your dominant fire? Are you the wildfire? Are you the smoldering nice guy? That was me. I was the smoldering nice guy. I wanted to, show up inauthentically to make people, some people would like me. But your leadership is not what you intend. It's what people experience. That's hopefully what I hope you take away here. You may intend it to be a certain way, but people are experiencing it in a whole different light. And that's something that we all can benefit from. So, my friends, a couple ways for us to support you going forward. Again, if you want to book a call on this, if this was value that you think, and we're just, I'm just kind of riffing here, kind of, it was a little choppy going back and forth through my presentation, and of course, what I wanted to show you in my bullets there. I want to make this more of a teaching, real, authentic experience. But if you have questions, by all means, drop in the comment. I'm at Cletus Coffee on all social channels. Just go ahead and DM me. And if I can be of service to you, to your team, to your organization, if I can help support you individually, I run personal sessions and I also do group cohorts. And I'm excited to grow that because it creates a community, and I'm really here to help you implement. I'm here to help you integrate, holding you accountable, and then creating community. My friends, I appreciate it. I encourage you to go out there and be the torch today. We'll see you next time.